Commissioner of Education, Randy Watson, often talks about the Kansans Can vision. The state board has said that Kansas will lead the world in the success of each student. They have defined a successful Kansas student as one with academic and cognitive preparations, technical and employability skills, and civically engaged. In order to see if our students are meeting this successful criteria, we need to take a look at the demographics, perceptions, student learning, and school processes. We'll begin by taking a look at demographics. Right now, our students overall are 55% male and 45% female. There's not a lot of diversity throughout the district, with 93% of our students being white, 2% Hispanic, and 4% who fall in the other category. The district as a whole is not a Title I district. We have 29% students who are on free and reduced lunch, and about 10% of our students are learning with disabilities. In terms of our teacher qualifications, 88% are fully licensed, and 12% of those are working in content areas, transitioning to a full professional license. The state has set some board outcomes for everyone to try to attain. In terms of kindergarten readiness, the ASQ3 says that about 73% of our students, based off of that questionnaire, are ready for kindergarten. At the same time, the social and emotional side of the Ages and Stages questionnaire shows that 91% of our students are socially and emotionally ready to begin kindergarten. A few years back when they started the individual plans of study, we tested the waters with about 30% of our students. In 2017, we were up to around 100, and now we have about 126 of our 135 students who are fully invested in their individual plan. Based on the 2016 SECD information that was sent into the state, we have about 96% of our students who are meeting that standard. Now, as we move into post-secondary progress, it considers graduation rate, success, averages, and our effective rate. Our graduation rate is very high, around 92%, but the success and effectiveness really take into account students who have gotten a certification either in high school or 5 years out, as well as those with a bachelor's or an associate's or higher degrees, and those who are going into the Army. What we have not figured out yet is how to record and turn in data showing that our students are gainfully employed in the workforce or are working in entrepreneurial avenues. A lot of our students personally are coming back to the family farm, and they are very successful in that. We just don't have a way to record that yet. First, let's take a look at our purpose. The local school board has set a mission for us to focus on what's best for kids. Based off of some of the perception data and the student learning information that we'll look at later, we have really decided to focus on relationships and relevance in terms of our KISA goals. The objectives for the district are to foster and encourage the development of the procedures for students so that they can effectively establish some goals and objectives for their own lives. We also want to take into account Kansas' mission to prepare Kansas students for lifelong success through rigorous, quality academic instruction, career training, and character development according to each student's gifts and talents. We're really trying to focus on individualizing instruction to meet the individual needs of our students. That's something that we're hoping to work toward in the district as well. As we begin, we'll take a look at graduation rates. We're doing very well with 96% of our students in attendance and having about 92% of our students graduate. Based off of some assessment data from 2017, in terms of student learning, we're doing very well in math and ELA. We're having 83% of our students who were at least at basic levels of mastery. About 50% of that is accounted for in levels 3 and 4 for proficient and above. We see we have a little room for improvement in the areas of science, though, as we only have about 74% of our students at basic and above. To make sure that we get a very complete picture, we also take some additional information into consideration, such as our Ames Web screeners, showing that 73% of our students are in Tier 1 and 22 are in Tier 2. Ideally, we'd like to get that number to 80% for Tier 1 and 15% for Tier 2. So we do have some areas where we can show some additional progress. Perceptions are extremely important. We have sent out cultural surveys for our students, staff, and our community. The students and the staff are extremely satisfied. Where we see that we really need to focus is based on our community employers' responses. They're saying that students need more accountability skills. These are including punctuality, reliability, and just overall communication skills. So we need to focus in on those SECD skills for our students. Based on some of this information, we are able to form an improvement plan. We see that we have 3 areas to focus on for our professional development. We need technology integration for 21st century learning skills, higher order thinking, and both of those will really lend themselves into student engagement. Some strategies to ensure that we're reaching some of these professional development areas are Kagan engagement, making sure that we're having some more hands-on learning, the authentic, relevant applications used in Eureka Math, but we also need to extend beyond math into the other core content areas and ensure that we're doing project-based learning. Last year, we had our FACS teacher, for example, work with our biology teacher, and those students in the FACS room created conjoined cookies that the biology class then decorated to show the different stages of mitosis. We need to do some more cross-curricular projects such as this in the upcoming years as well. So in terms of KISA, we feel like using this data will really drive our KISA goals for our accreditation and making sure that we are meeting all the needs of our students through more cross-grade partnerships, even down in elementary if you have, say, kindergarten working with 4th grade. We'd also like to encourage more community members to come into the classrooms to assist so that they can see the work of our students and we can get some more community support as well. To assist with some of those employer requests, we would like to do some on-job training partnerships so that they can get some of those communication and reliability skills in a real-world setting. As always, we need to ensure that community communication remains open and exploring the idea of having learning showcases where the community comes in and our students really get to show off and lead some of their project-based learning to encourage more community development events as well. Relevance, again, we need to focus on some project-based learning to get some authentic application. By having our curriculum teams really focus in on, or our committees come together and really focus in on the curriculum, we can make some additional changes to ensure that we have a very robust curriculum that includes student-centered learning and authentic problem solving. We're taking some steps toward technology integration. This past year, we ensured that we had devices one-to-one across the district, but we are also in the upcoming years going to be updating some of those technologies to make sure that they are current and relevant as well. Once we have achieved some very good results, we want to make sure that we are maintaining those. So we need to have continuous improvement evaluations. I would suggest that we import all of our data into SchoolNet or a similar data-based network, and that our tests are based on the standards so that it is very intentional data that we are getting back. Coming together in bi-weekly meetings with our colleagues and our peers to analyze that data will help in sharing different strategies that will help to increase our teaching so that we are making impactful adjustments in our instruction as well as our interventions, ensuring that those students are fluid and not just going to tier and living in the tier system. But based off of current data needs, those groups will be ever-changing. Finally, we should consider doing external data comparisons with local districts with similar demographics so that we are, again, exchanging ideas that are maybe outside of the box, outside of the realm that we've currently been using. To adjust our overall perceptions, we need to ensure that SECD conversations are a daily thing happening in our classrooms, as well as ensuring that the community members are involved as well. Parent communication should be positive, and we need to ensure that we're having this positive communication on a weekly basis to ensure that we are supporting the psychological needs of not only our students, but the parents as well, and that we are setting a good example by maintaining that open communication with their parents. This will overall impact student relationships in the building. We're currently doing a great job with our cultural surveys, but to ensure that it's continuous, we need to increase that to a biannual culture survey so that our information is more up to date and more relevant.